it's the middle. The middle. No. Yeah. Is that one? All right, I'm gonna get this.
Win.
What did we talk about last time?
The blog.
Yeah.
That was it. Okay, good. So we're done with that. I'll start grading that this weekend. I'm still working on your posters. Please, gentlemen, ladies, one of the requirements on the poster project is to post a link to your presentation on your blog site. So please do that. It makes it easy for me to get to it, but it also forces you to make your presentations public so other people can view it. It's good to show off what you've learned. It's good. Pardon?
On both blogs? Like,
Yeah, everybody puts it on their own individual blog. If you help make it, you need to post it. That way your grandma can see it, not go to Sam's to view it, right? Because it's your family that view yours. Yeah. I'm not. It's a reminder. I'd like it to happen soon that we can grade them. Because I'm slowly getting buried, slowly suffocating to death in the homework I create. Yes.
The length of the presentation for our classes.
Yes.
Slap that we should do.
In a separate post. Just say, hey, I worked on this. Check it out. You have to have a picture of yourself. Whatever. No, each one of you need to put it up. That way your family, your college counselor, you can show off your education too. Yeah?
Can it be like on that blog, the Armstrong one?
Just do a separate post. Just do a post and say, hey, I worked on this. Check it out. Doesn't have to be any more in depth than that. Just put the link there.
Okay.
That way it's just easy. And it's something to talk about with friends and family. And those of you still applying to colleges, maybe it's something useful there. Shows you your depth and how you're changing, right? You should not be remaining the same person. You should be totally different by the time you get to college. Peter, can you please shut the door for us when we get started?
All right.
Today, I feel like everybody is here who's going to be here.
You are right.
I am right. You're right. Confirmation. All right, so today's focus, today we're going to go into our issue of solid waste issues. We are recording. I did figure out what's going on with the iPad. The issue with the iPad is that using YouTube required a web link, and the web link kept crashing. So I'm just recording straight up, and then I'll post that. So figured that out. Adam does. Hey, you can find Sarah.
Is she?
She's around. She's around. Sorry, buddy.
Don't worry.
Trying to get the signature. All right, so today we're going to start off a little bit about where the notes are, and then we'll also watch a little video, kind of get a shape of the problem, and then introduce our project that we're going to work on. Okay, so first up, oh, look at that. I've already knocked off the internet. See? This is... This was a challenge yesterday for us, wasn't it? So where I'm going is I'm going to the notes. The notes, you know where the notes are set. Where are they located? The topics page under disposable world. We're looking at this disposable problem. We're trying to figure out what's going on. Well, how big is this problem? What are we going to do about it? That's what we're doing. So we're looking at these problems. Okay, let's see if this will work now. Please be working. Okay. So I'm going to open up the notes first. Here we are. So the notes that I have, the case study is different from your edition of textbook. This is last year's textbook. You got an updated one, but it has the same goals. These are our goals here. Understand the types of waste that we generate. How do we manage that? How big is it? How do we dispose of it? Or major ways of getting rid of it? Ways to reduce it? And then we have the hazardous waste, industrial waste stuff, which we've kind of already covered. We did that first, right? So we did that because it dovetailed nicely with toxicology. That's why we jumped to this chapter, solid waste. So we're going to go through these first four here. will get you excited about it. So here we go. So the big issue that's set up in this chapter that's different from your book is they talk about the Fresh Kills landfill site in New York City, right there in Staten Island. And what happened with that? That was once the world's largest landfill. It is no longer the world's largest landfill because it's finished. They capped it. They filled it to its brim. They opened it briefly during 9/11, in 2001 when we had that awful moment, and they put in the debris from that in there. And they've capped it. And you can see in this image here, you see the management landfill, and you see it years after they've capped it. Looks pretty good.
How did they turn it into that?
Well, I'm really glad you asked, Lily. How did we turn it into? One of the policies of the Resource Conservation and Recovery Act is to create sanitary landfills that you can cover and allow some land area to be reclaimed. You aren't allowed to grow too many trees on it, even though this one seems to show it. But if we were to look up this Fresh Kills Staten Island place, it's very large. This is one side of it, not the very top of it. And so a lot of these places become recreational areas. They become soccer fields, softball fields, places to put solar panels. So they typically don't put a forest in there because the roots will get into the trash and leftovers down below. Yes, Mimi?
How did they decide when to cap it?
When it was full.
And how, like, when do they know it's full? Like,
Well, I'm glad you asked that. We're going to do the math on that. Not today, but we're going to eventually get there. That is one of the goals, is to know the rate, the scale of this problem, how quickly we're filling up these spaces, and what do we do next. In New Hampshire, we don't have many places we can bury trash because we're the granite state. It's mainly rock directly underneath our feet. Maybe 10 feet under, and then it's rock, solid bedrock. Not great for landfill, so we have a different way of getting rid of it.
how do we get rid of it?
We incinerate it. We'll look at that process too. Okay? Was there another question? Good. So here's just a couple facts about the site. This is right there on the slides. Talks about it closing and talked about the trouble of like when you switch your means of disposal, it can be a strain on a city or an environment because everybody's producing waste all the time. Do we have any idea how much waste we create a day?
A lot.
Oh no.
It's,
How about a number? Yes?
the book said it.
Yeah, what did the book say?
It was 4.7.
Uh-huh. Yeah, there's two sources of the book that contradict each other. One says 4.5, the other one says 6 pounds a day
Yeah.
on average for average.
That's so much.
It is.
'Cause
It is.
Does that include food waste?
That includes everything that's thrown away. So that includes recycling too. So this waste issue isn't just stuff that's going to the landfill, right? We have different pathways we've diverted. Let's just talk about some terms. I think we talked about industrial solid waste a little bit, but these terms are important as we start to, you read about it in the book, but just to clarify, we have 4 major categories. The other one's hazardous waste, so the next slide. But regular term of waste, I think we did this already, didn't we? No, it was the other class. Okay. Waste is kind of like weeds in a garden. It's the unwanted plant. In this case, the unwanted product. I don't want this, napkin anymore because I've used it, so now we dispose of it. So it's a result of things that we don't want. Municipal solid waste is usually non-liquid, and it comes from homes and schools and institutions and small businesses. Whereas industrial waste is mainly liquid waste. About 97% of it is liquid, but it's coming from these bigger human activities that provide services and goods for our civilization. So mining, farming, forestry, extraction of oil out of the ground, that kind of stuff, refining it, manufacturing, they all have waste products. And a lot of it's water-based. A lot of it's mixed in with water. Okay? Hazardous waste we've talked about, right?
Mm-hmm.
Remember, these slides you can download. If you have an iPad, you can write directly on there using Notability. Notability is used on a laptop too. You can type right on it. Going to move past this. So we have several ways of taking care of this waste, and then we look at the scale of it with a video. Okay. So we have several things that we're trying to do. The main thing we're trying to do is we got to try to get it smaller. The waste stream, this amount of trash, amount of things are thrown away that's going out of your house into a disposal site is the concern. We're trying to make that smaller. The problem is we're adding more people every second, right? There's a lot of people. And so we're using up a lot of products as we go. And so we're trying to figure out ways to minimize waste at the source. We have two examples right here. It says recover waste materials and recycle, right? Of course, you can think of two examples probably immediately. Something that we recover and reuse. What would it be?
Plastic bags.
Say again?
Bags or like plastic
A
bags.
plastic bag,
Clothing.
clothing. We'll recover them and reuse them maybe.
Paper.
Paper, we can recycle that. Meaning that we tear it apart and reform it into paper or another paper product. Right, so those are the main sources, main ways that we're doing that. Or we don't even make the waste to begin with, which is what we're headed for. So notice this last part down here. Let's see if it'll work now. This last part here I'm highlighting. To reduce the amount of material that enters the waste stream, we have to do these things. We have to use materials better, more efficiently, more effectively. We have to consume less and buy goods with less packaging. One of the things that I try to do with my family is buy organic food. But for some reason, the organic food industry is shrink wrapping individual plants instead of leaving them nude. That's the new term. That's the new thing now in grocery stores is having the nude aisle for your vegetables. Which would be great because that little plastic stuff has all sorts of toxic issues as well as it's got to go somewhere. Plus, the way we got that plastic is pretty controversial too.
Yeah.
We know where we get plastics from, right? What's the raw source? Petroleum, oil. Where do we get oil?
The ground.
Where?
The ground.
The ground, like where on the planet? You're right, it's
Oh.
on the ground.
Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
Saudi Arabia is one place. Any other places have oil?
America.
What's that?
America.
We have some. Where is it in America? Where are we drilling?
The middle, like the Midwest.
Texas. Wyoming.
Like Kansas.
Pennsylvania.
All those places have fracking and stuff. Yeah, some of our controversial places that we drill are off the coast. Where you like to swim, beaches, out the coast of that. Some national parks are wanting to be drilled. And
Which
they
is
like.
bad.
Maybe. Last time I checked, we are all using oil.
Yeah, but national parks are
Yeah, but you want your stuff. Which one can't have both? You have to choose, right? So again, that's why we want to reduce it. So we don't have to make a decision like that. Joshua tree or a plastic bag. Well, damn, I know what I'm going to choose. Joshua tree. You can do a paper bag. Okay. All right.
And there's no trees in Joshua Tree.
There are trees in Joshua tree.
Not if you use paper bags only.
That's right.
You can recycle.
So take a look at this. This diagram is really key. It's an important one. This is slide number, what is this? Slide number 9. And this is good. What this is illustrating is that it shows a waste stream to the landfill or incineration. And here's the end product. But along the way, we're trying to divert and reduce this waste stream to make it become other stuff. So it has those things we were just talking about in the slide before, making processes more efficient, minimizing packaging, purchasing green products, reusing items, recycling, composting, and having a whole city compost. What would be something a company could do to reduce trash?
Make packaging less.
Yeah, what would be an alternative?
Just a bag.
Just a bag? What if I'm a Dell Computing, and I'm going to send you your computer you order?
Smaller computer.
Pardon?
Smaller computer.
Smaller computer. And I'm going to ship out